Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome back to LGBT Detroit Live. My name is Joe Black, and you guys know this guy up here, Mr.
Chris Impact. I was about to
Yes.
say my other name, but we'll leave that for another episode.
Oh, okay, okay. But what you guys, so there's somebody new here on the chat, in the chat that y'all may or may not recognize. So I'm gonna let you, sir, introduce yourself how you would like to be introduced.
Oh, praise the Lord. My name is Patrick. I use he, him pronouns, native Detroiter with a side of Southfield. Currently a
Love it.
PhD student here at Michigan State, and I study,
Hey,
L
yes,
L L L L L L
and I
L.
study all things Black horror. So I'm excited to be here, excited to talk with my people during the spooky season and
Yes,
start my Friday off right. You know what I'm saying?
how you do
yes,
it?
and we love to see it. Here's the reason why I got my fist in the throw out, fist in and up. So,
Fabulous.
Love it.
So, Patrick, I don't know if I prepped you, but
Okay.
we're going to get into the serious media analysis questions. But
Okay.
first, I gotta ask some medium ghetto questions first. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Oh Lord,
Fantastic.
so the first question I'm going to ask as I sip my
sip
tea
your
is,
tea.
what type of tea are you sipping on? Because right now I'm sipping on that Downtown Abbey. Look, I was about to say downtown, and people who love Downton Abbey would
Oh,
have
okay.
killed me. That's like Downton Abbey, Mrs. Potmore's pudding tea. That's what I'm sipping on right now. So what are the guys in the LGBT Detroit studio and Michigan State sipping on? What y'all sipping on?
I'll just keep it simple. So I have some brisk iced tea in a can. It
You
would have been
did
in
say medium
Arizona.
ghetto. That is
It
medium
is.
ghetto.
It is very medium ghetto. It is very much that, but it's quenching the thirst. So we're good over
Period.
here.
Can I just say that I should have been more prepared because right now I am drinking a high noon, right? Which
Oh,
is
okay, okay.
a fave of mine for sure,
Oh,
pineapple flavor. But
oh,
I,
oh.
since joining this PhD, have fallen in love with just like tea in general.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner will tell you that I like take my tea making seriously, right? I will get
Mm.
my what do you call that? The French press. I will boil my
Uh-huh.
water, right? Like I might put a little brown sugar, a little honey in a thing, and then I
Oh,
press
oh,
it,
oh,
and then I
okay.
take a little tea, and then I'll froth the or take some milk, froth the milk a little bit, do a little English situation got going on. So like I take my
Okay.
tea making seriously, and I regret that I am not fully prepared to show off how seriously I take it.
It is
Well, I'm about to say,
okay.
hopefully, this won't be your last
That's right.
appearance
Exactly.
on the
The
show.
next time my tea
Yes,
press will be pressing.
we'll be on and popping. Come on now.
Amen. Amen. Now, I noticed that you mentioned in there that you have a partner, because my next like ghetto messy question was
Yeah.
going to be like, are you single out here in these streets? Because the girlies are looking for them a doctor. So not me though. I'm already booed up, but the girls are out here.
Well, this doctor is taking, honey. Let me tell you. No,
There you go. There
I
you go.
the streets are a very dangerous place to be,
Okay. How
but
so?
you must be in them to find you said man, right? And
Yes.
so
Yes.
Mm,
after being very present in said streets, I
yes.
stumbled across someone who was 0.76 miles away,
Oh,
and
hey.
it's been
I love it.
an incredible journey ever since. And so I
Yes.
feel incredibly lucky. I think y'all know that we don't survive as black queer people without community, right?
Come
And
on
that
now.
community includes love.
Yes.
It includes a belief in love, right? And I am super grateful to have his support and to have his care and attention. And
Amen.
it's a very beautiful thing to believe in love and to be loved. See it as a practice.
Okay.
Amen.
Oh my God, I love that. I love
Yes.
that. I also love the fact that you don't have to be struggling during this cuffing season because spooky season and cuffing season coincide.
You know,
That is,
amen to that, because everybody out here folding like Kalani right now. Like,
I'm screaming.
have you seen that challenge?
I
all
have
the
seen
medium
it.
singers?
The girls are singing.
Yes,
Wait,
and they're
folding
not
like
medium
what?
either. They keep
Oh.
saying, you know what? I'm gonna sing Kalani folded as a medium singer, and then proceed to sing the house fucking down.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
They are
Right.
full throated singers, not medium singers out here.
Kalani, another queer person who keeps a boo. Kalani keeps a boo.
Yeah.
Forever
Yeah.
has
Did you
a
see
boo
that
on
video,
lock.
Chris? Have you seen the folded video?
I haven't seen it.
There's a reason why she keeps a boo.
Okay.
She
All
said
right.
she'll let your body decide if this is good enough for you.
All right.
Mhm.
Is she part of the community as well?
She is. She
Period.
is. Mhm.
Yes, very much so. She definitely is. Yes.
Well, I
Yes.
love it.
Okay.
Yes.
So this brings me to my next question. It's going to be a medium ghetto leading into the actual kind of topic. So I'm going to start off ridiculous, and then we're
Okay.
going to go deeper. Levels.
Okay.
There's levels to this.
Okay.
Okay. So my first question is the Wayans brothers with their scary movie series. Should they be considered, in the black horror? I don't know how to say this. Should they be considered in the black horror pantheon because they did sell well? Or should they, black horror goats or no? That's how I'll put that.
Was Scary Movie written by them or just starring them?
It was written by
it was written by them.
It was written,
First
yeah.
two, the first three were written, and
then,
then the studios took it
4
and
and
kind of
5,
made epic movie, and they started trying to expand it into something else. But they took it from after the third one.
So I think I would consider Scary Movie black horror.
Interesting. Okay, I was not expecting that.
I think I would. Well, we have to first talk about what black horror actually is, right? Like in scholarship. And
so let's do it. Talk about it. What is it?
Well, black horror is which is different from blacks in horror, right? Like blacks in
Night
horror
just means in horror.
Exactly, right? Like blacks in horror just means that there was a black person present, right? Like for a specific period of time who did us, who played a particular part, but black people's thoughts and cultural anxieties were not centered in the making of the film. And so when I think about Scary Movie, even in the comedic aspect of it, I do think that they were centralizing the ways in which black people thought about a variety of cultural stereotypes and I'll just say like cultural fears even, right? Like the entire opening sequence of Scary Movie, which is like about how ridiculous white women are, right? Like
Oh wait, okay, yes, that's where they're doing the Scream parody.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, like it's a lot.
Okay.
But I'll just say that I think that throughout the movie, it's like what I kept thinking was like, this is what black people think about scary movies, right? And this is what black people think about other cultural groups within the world, but also within scary movies too. I think it's black horror. It's not good horror, but it doesn't need to be good to be black.
Okay.
What do you think?
I like that answer because that one that one parody that they did with what's her face when she was in the movie with the fried chicken and record, and she's like, "Oh girl, don't you go in there!" And like
Yeah.
it was the parody of the Jada Pinkett scene in Scream 2, but
Yes.
it was just pushed up to its ridiculous, you know,
Yes.
nth degree.
Regina King. Wait,
Yeah,
Regina King, right?
yeah, Regina. No,
It was
Regina
Regina
Hall.
King.
Regina Hall.
Regina Hall. Okay,
Yeah.
Ooh,
Regina
we got
King.
right. We
Regina
got
Hall.
it
Okay,
together.
Regina Hall. Let me
Regina
just do a
Hall.
little check because I don't. She always say that I mess it. Okay, yeah. Regina Hall is fantastic.
Wait, hold
And
up. Wait a second. Did he just say she always say that I will mess up? Do you know her?
do I know Regina Hall?
Yes.
Hell no, I don't know Regina Hall yet.
Because you said it. It just rolled off your
No,
tongue.
in
You're
her
like, she'll say
interviews,
that
she always says that people mistake her for Regina King. So I'm like, I don't want to
Yes.
mess that up for her because she's an amazing actress. But she's
Absolutely.
fantastic in Scary Movie, by the way.
Yes.
She's so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So okay, let's jump into some of these questions. So the first question that I have for you is just like let me ask you about your journey, because black horror, you've defined black horror, but I want to know how did you fall into the black horror subgenre? Like it's a niche topic to kind of, to kind of stumble upon, and the fact that you're actually pursuing it to get a doctorate in it, which woo, like how
Right.
did you go like, that's it, that's what I want.
That's it, right? Well, I like to say that the journey started when I was maybe about 6 or 7 years old. And I spent a lot of time with my auntie on the east side, 7 Mile and DeQuinder. And
I see
back
the
in the
board
day,
now.
there used to be this store.
Wow.
Back
Don't
in
worry,
the
I grew
day-
up on 7 Mile and Van Dyke, so I'm not too far.
Understood, east side.
Right.
There used to be this store back in the day where you could go and you can rent videos and take them home. Some of the girls don't remember.
Ooh, take me back.
Yeah,
On 7 Mile off of Van
right?
Dyke.
Movie Mania.
8 Mile, right?
Yes.
There was one on 8 Mile.
Yes.
And so we went to that store quite often when my dad was out living his life and my mom was out living her life. I spent time with my aunties. And when we went there, they used to always tell us, we go into the horror section. And unlike Netflix where you got to scroll, all of the horror movies was just kind of out. And I just was like so kind of drawn to them because that was the passion of my aunts at the time. And she said, we're going to watch Halloween.
Ooh.
And when I tell you she borrowed every single movie on that shelf, she absolutely did. And we got popcorn and we went back to the house and I got to know Michael Myers, right?
Hey.
And I was just like, and I don't know if y'all have ever noticed this, but Black people have such an affinity to Michael Myers. It's really crazy, which I have a theory about, which I'll tell you about soon. But I'll say that like throughout my entire childhood, I always watched horror movies. But there's a specific kind of way that Black people engage with horror. I like to say that horror in general, like despite us not showing up in horror in like its true, in like 80s, 90s, Black people still had an affinity to them, and we watched them in a very specific kind of way, right? Like we're constantly analyzing, and we know that we wouldn't make those decisions. We know that wouldn't happen to us, right? And as I sort of continued to grow up, I also was like very interested in the ways that Black people talked about their own horrors, right, and their own ghost stories and things of that nature. And when you talk about stuff like that, you don't necessarily think that that's something that people actually study or something that is like worth going to school for, because where's the money in that sort of thing? But then this thing called Get Out happened, right?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when Get Out happened, people think that Black horror started with Get Out, but that's not true at all, right? But what it did do was it did sort of bridge Black history with Black horror films, right? And sort of saying what Tanana Reeve says, which is like Black history is a Black horror. And so it's hard to really open up a new kind of floodgate into scholarship of people saying, actually, we got to really talk about this, right? Black people move when our history is studied and talked about and theorized, right? Like all theory is a better way to understand the world. And so what Jordan Peele did was he told people, actually, we need to start looking at these horror films and using horror as a specific genre to think and talk about the ways in which we are navigating our own fears and our own horrors. So I say all that to say, horror to me has always been a freeing genre. It's always been a liberating genre. And I, taught middle school English for 10 years. I got a master's in strategic communication, and all of those to me were serious degrees. They were degrees that was going to lead me to a specific, career or monetary benefit. But I said, I I have to get a PhD in English at this point in time, right? Because the literacy rate is very low. It's low, right?
Now he calling the girls out for not being able to read.
And I think that when you study English and you study stories and you study film, what you're doing is you're becoming a expert in empathy, right? And so I wanted to be in that lane. And then horror is just an exciting genre. It's a genre that pulls people together, and it's a genre that I think is understudied at this moment. And so I'm excited to contribute scholarship and theory and new horror works, right? Like to first of all, the way Black people say horror from Detroit, I've been struggling these last five minutes. Horror, you know what I mean?
What a horror.
But I'm excited to like contribute something to this like field that is growing, and to put my own Black ass Detroit lens on it. So it's definitely a big passion of mine for sure.
We love that.
10s across the board.
Yes.
I feel like we have enough snippets from this alone. That we could pull together from it. There were so many incredible nuggets. But yes, amazing.
Okay, so I have to ask you this because I do want to circle back around horror as liberation. But before I do, so okay, y'all, I have to admit, me and Patrick, we worked together for like a hot 2 minutes before he went back to school, and he was just like, you know what, we about to put on this doctor robe right here.
Yeah, that's right.
So in that time, I didn't necessarily get to know him by more than just his name. And since then, I've been like on his Instagram seeing a couple of things. And I have to ask you about this because it interests me because I am a fan of horror myself.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, okay, so I saw that you just did a lecture on scary kids and grown folks business. That's a common trope. That's a common trope in horror. You also have like, milk always being spilled or, blood dripping in, or, milk is always present, in horror a lot. What are some of your favorite horror movie tropes that you can break down and just be like, hey, this is the history, this is what this is meaning, like, give me some of your top tropes.
Oh man. Okay. Well, here's something that I just recently sort of realized. So in the lecture that I gave on scary kids and the consequences of grown folks business,
he said get it right. If you don't say it, get it right. Scary kids.
No, you're right. So first of all, I want to say that scary kids in general is such a oxymoron, because horror is almost always rated R, right? Horror is an adult playground for grown-ups to figure out what they got going on and what they're gonna do about it, right? Without boundaries, without rules. And so the fact that kids are present in the horror films is always an interesting point of study for us, right? Because kids in general are closer to death than we are, right? And so therefore they have a interesting disposition to be susceptible to all of the horrors that we experience. But kids are also curious, they are excited, they are willing, and sometimes adults like to use kids as a symbolic, uh trope, if you will, to kind of explore the ways that they would face their own fears, because kids are more fearless than we are.
Okay.
And so there is a common trope. There is a common trope that exists in horror. It's not my favorite, but I think it's something that people should pay attention to. And that is the sacrificial Negro, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The
Yep.
We
sacrificial.
always decide.
Right.
Yes.
The fact that we all know what it is. Okay. Sorry.
So the
Go ahead.
sacrificial Negro is the character in a horror film who sacrifices themselves, usually, who dies, right, so that the white main character can live.
Yep.
So that happens a lot.
Hate that.
But it's a little bit weird. It's a little bit of a flip that happens when kids are involved, because kids are usually the ones who are saving the adults from the horror that exists in a particular horror film.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, though, we may see black kids doing this on behalf of their white female teachers.
Ugh. Okay.
Right? And so we see the white woman savior come forward in horror. So I just watched The Girl with All the Gifts recently. That is absolutely white women savior trope there, right?
Okay.
And then we also see, but then it also is there interracially too. I just watched Eve's Bayou, which folks don't necessarily see as a horror film, but I do.
How
right?
do they not see that as a horror film? Okay.
We try to talk about what an actual horror film is too. But in that actual film, right, like that is absolutely, kids being portrayed as scary by adults, right? And so I like to argue that there are no scary kids, right, in horror films, but there are kids who are being subjected to adult fears. And because kids are more susceptible to evil because of their proximity to death, right, and their lack of experience and their immaturity, they are sort of like they need an opportunity to kind of prove themselves, but that is always through the lens of adults, not necessarily through kids themselves. Right.
Well,
so these messages are really more about childhood than they are about scary kids.
Okay, because I was gonna push back just a little bit on the concept of, because you are technically correct. Most horror movies are rated R, so because of the government system that we have in place, it's intended for adults. However, don't horror as a genre, like it started with what, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or something like. Isn't most horror like a morality play? And morality plays are played out for who? Children? Like so that they can learn. Like that's why we have Hansel and Gretel, and like the Grimm stories are all pretty much horror shows to teach kids lessons. Hey, don't be a dick. Hey, don't just trust people. Hey, don't lie. So it's. I was going to push back lightly on stuff being the exclusive realm of the adults in the room, just because most of these morality plays are, for, I guess, teenage kids. That's why we have the tropes of, the teens who go off and have sex get slashed by the slasher and stuff like that. People who do the drugs, don't do weed, or you might get, you might be inebriated when the slasher comes through. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I absolutely agree with that. And I do think that there is a bit of a difference between horror literature, folklore, and like fairy tales, and then like the horror films,
Okay.
because the like horror films go to such an extreme
Mm-hmm.
that like
Mm-hmm.
even though there are kids present, right? Like they don't actually appear as kids, right? Like
Yeah.
when I think about Scream or what did I do, or what I did last summer, or
Mm-hmm.
even Halloween, right? Like the slasher genre, like those are actually kids. Like those are kids in high school, right?
Yeah.
Teenagers who are learning, right? That
Yeah.
if you have sex, you're more prone to die, right?
Mm-hmm.
But all of that is through like this like a adult lens, right? Like kids do not get invited to write these particular horror films. And
Right.
so it's what adults think that kids should be learning, not actually what kids are fearful of during this particular era, and like what they actually believe should happen as a result of their fears.
Okay. Okay. So, God, okay, that's such a great place to end because I almost want to. Okay, so I want to go into my next question, but before I do that,
Yeah.
I want to give you a chance to segue into because you have done. Speaking of kids not writing this stuff for themselves, you've actually done a contest for kids to write horror stories, right? And I
Yes.
wanted to give you a moment to shout that out if you wanted to. So,
Oh my goodness. So yeah, so I became very curious about extending the horror genre and the elements that make horror to kids, right? Because the beauty of horror is that it allows us to face our fears and win, right? Like that's within the genre. Even if the monster comes back, right? Like even though horror resists narrative closure, it still gives us a model on how to face our fears. And I think that there's no better audience to explore that with than the kids themselves. And so I did a Super Saturday event with Detroit Public Schools where I taught horror film or horror scary story writing, I'll say. And
okay.
that was such inspiring like moment for me because I saw so many kids get excited about writing the gory things and writing out their fears, but also like beating their fears. And it was such a symbolic thing that I said, I got to open this up to a contest. And so big thank you to the Skillman Foundation for funding that. But I was able to open up a citywide contest where there were over 40 plus students who submitted stories from over 12 different schools in the city. And their stories are they were something else from as young as first grade all the way up to seniors.
Wow.
And the winners of those stories received cash prizes. And then they
Amen.
received gift cards to the Whitney for a paranormal tour.
Ooh,
And
yes.
I am a
Wait,
sound designer. Oh, go ahead.
wait. No. If you're gonna say, if you're gonna bring in the Whitney, just let people know. People who are not in Detroit, the Whitney is a very old hotel that used to be the residence of
David Whitney.
David
Yeah.
Whitney. Was he a log baron, a wood baron, or something like that? Um, and it's supposed to be haunted. So go ahead.
Yes. And there's definitely some spooky shit in there if you have not been yourself. But they got a chance to go there for as a part of their prize. And then I'm a sound designer. And so I took their story and I turned it into an audiobook format. And so next
Ooh.
week, those stories will be released on my blog. I saw something spooky on Substack. And so you'll be able to hear the first place winners in the elementary, middle, and high school division to hear what they find scary and how they navigated it.
Oh snap! Do
Love
you have
that.
a teaser in the works? Can we like do a little shout out, do a little something like, hey, check out the winners?
like an actual like an audio piece?
I don't know. I'm just saying, do you have like, is there something that we can later on just be like, hey, go check out Patrick's contest winners. They're writing some spooky stuff.
Yes, Monday. It'll be released on Monday.
Is this the correct web address
Uh-huh.
you want to share it? So I saw something spooky.substack.com.
That's right.
Yeah.
Amen. Okay, so now we're going to get into the queerness of it all.
Okay.
Because
We weren't already getting into the
Yeah,
before?
you brought up scary movie. So when you brought up scary movie, I said, okay, well, we're gonna get into it quick, but I didn't want to go too deep into it. We can go back there though.
Look, yeah, we could, because Sean Wayans, whoo, he was an awakening for me.
Yeah, very a very sexy man for sure.
Yes,
But very problematic.
Sean and Marlon are both still an awakening for me, but that's again another conversation.
Here's the thing: Marlon did not become an awakening for me until later. Like, Marlon,
really,
like, I was not looking at Marlon because he was too goofy. But like Sean, when he did that little shirt thing, I was.
Yeah, there were so many moments in that film. Like, oh my, yeah, my Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, I was going to bring this over to queerness by saying, we often know that in the horror genre writ large, whether it be in, in writing, in movie, in any format, the concept of the other is often considered monstrous in some form. Yes. However, when it comes to horror in film, a lot of queer people often identify, be it by chance or by whatever other means, with the monster. Like, how can I put this? There is a lot of people like Disney villains. If we want to go,
I was just gonna say that. Yeah,
Disney villains. Like, people love Ursula. They love Scar. My favorite Disney villain is actually Scar, because he was
Butch
played,
Queen. Yes.
So I guess I wanted to ask, why do people? Why is it? What does queer survival look like within Black horror when people are identifying with, the villains so hard, so often, so much? Like, why is that, and how does that look in your studies, I should say?
Well, I'll say that I'm not not an expert, and I think that that's a question that I sort of have for myself. But I think in general, our society, like monsters are just a symbol for like the cultural fears and anxieties that we all have, right? Mm-hmm. And there's this theorist, his name is James Cohen, and he wrote the 7 Theses of Monster. It's called Monster Theory.
Oh.
And he talks about, again, how, every monster that we see on screen is just a reflection of cultural fears, anxieties, struggles that we all have. And we see that through the monster's body, how they escape, how they're fed and seen over time.
Yep, you can't have those crazy bisexuals out there just drawing people's blood.
Right, absolutely. And I think that because queer people have consistently been othered, and we have kind of been pushed to the wayside, we've been killed, systemically, but also personally as well, right? I think that it's not a surprise that queer folks are saying, oh, actually, you know what I mean? Like, I see myself in this particular monster. And then we see writers and directors sort of taking queer performance and putting those into those monsters, right? Like in ways like an Ursula, right? Who's very drag queenish.
Oh, she was based off of the drag queen Divine from the John Waters films,
right? And we have to ask ourselves, like, what is the cultural significance of that, And so while we want to say that surviving the horror movie is the ultimate win,
Ooh.
Sometimes
Ooh. Okay.
being the monster and being able to get your lick back, you know what I mean,
Oh,
is
okay.
an important thing for queer people where we may not have all of the autonomy and agency that we need to fight back against homophobia and transphobia in our society.
That's a
I never
really
would have
incredible
thought of
way
that.
of looking at it like that. Yeah.
Being able to traumatize your oppressors,
Yes.
even
And
if you don't
so,
survive the film, the fact that okay, now that final girl, that final girl who was like the Karen of the group,
yeah.
has that scar that you will
Right.
remember not to do that again, is the point.
Yeah.
Which is why I think. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, and I was about to say, I mean, I know this is not the best example of like Black queerness in film, but when you bring up that example about basically getting your lick back, I think of Carrie, right?
Ooh.
Original
Yeah.
Carrie, yeah. You know, and I mean, I think even in queer culture, I feel like anytime I even go to a lot of shows, like drag shows,
Yeah.
there's an element there. There's an element where I feel like for a lot of us, like you said, again, we're able to resonate with the struggle of the so-called villain or the monster in the film.
Right.
You know, because there is this idea of, you know, being pushed into these dark corners and you have to figure out your way out, you know, and that's, you know, with any means necessary. But yeah.
I mean, this is the reason why Black people love Michael Myers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, let's get into it. Yes.
The reason why Black people love Michael Myers is because Michael Myers is he's an anti-white radical.
I was not expecting you to go there. Okay.
So
please explain.
In 1979, right? Like when we put the film in the context, right? Like white flight, right? People were fleeing to the suburbs away from the city because who was in the city?
Black folks.
Right. We were there, right? And that was dangerous. That was scary. There was violent crimes and criminals there, right? Like we have radio footage of folks saying there's so much crime, there's so much craziness happening in the city where Black folks were living. And so Michael Myers and John Carpenter, right, like directs this film, which is kind of based on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but this one is so profound because he says, actually, y'all are not as safe as you think that you are, right? Like I'm gonna send Michael Myers straight to the suburbs, right? Straight to Royal Oak. And, and so like
shots fired. Okay, sorry.
If you look at Haddonville, it gives very, very much Royal Oak, Farmington, like Farmington vibes. And so
absolutely.
And people like to ask, why aren't Black people in the early Halloween films? Because we were not present in the suburbs at that time. And so it's a beautiful sort of analogy because Michael Myers is killing these white people, white women specifically, right? Like exclusively at a time where Black people have been painted as violent, as evil, as unsafe, right? Like John Carpenter is saying, well, actually, y'all are not safe either. And actually, you are your own worst enemies, right? And so Michael Myers doesn't start killing Black people until
H2O.
Yeah,
with
basically
Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes and no, that's Resurrection. H2O is
H2O had
LL Cool J.
LL Cool J,
right? Who also gets killed. But
I love
they
H2O.
are folks who are not a part of the community though, right? Like LL Cool J is working at like as a security guard in this like fancy sort of school, and then Tyra Banks and Busta Rhymes are kind of playing themselves or celebrities, right? Who are like coming to film this reality show. And so I still like stand on this belief that like Michael Myers is sort of like pushing back against this narrative that white flight will get you the rewards of safety and being in whiteness is all the things that white folks need to feel good. But it's like actually no, like actually not at all.
This is another thing I want to touch on real quick because you bring up this thing, and I think just Michael Myers, how he moves in these suburban spaces, right? Yeah. He's not chasing anybody down. He's out in the public eye. Casually walking around.
Casually
murking these people right next to, the next house or whatever. And I think that opens up, maybe a slightly another way of looking at things is that it's the audacity, right?
Yeah.
And this comfort that, for a lot of white folks who live in suburban America have, thinking that, like there's no need to be conscious of your surroundings or be aware of your actions. And, and that comes from a level of privilege.
Yes.
Because again, anytime, and this goes back to Black folks viewing horror films, we're in the movie theater like, girl, run, get out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because we're constantly thinking about the real dangers. Basically, where you look at Michael Myers, like he's casually walking down the street with a whole damn butcher knife, murking people, and like folks are unmoved. And I think
from 1979 all the way up into the 2020s, right? Like even when Haddonfield becomes more diverse, the culture of the suburban place has not changed.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh,
that's true.
It has not changed. Yeah, no, that's definitely a really good point.
So, oh my God, like I have to be honest. I did not expect that we were going to end up talking about white on white violence.
That is white on white crime. Yeah.
Yes. Like that was not in my bingo card, but I'm glad you brought it up. But I want to bring it on around to okay, so with that being said, horror as independence. That's like I heard you talk about it, but can you explain it to me like I'm 5? Like let's bring this full circle. Like, how is horror something horrific as I don't know, Brandy having to see all her friends get killed, and her and Jennifer Love Hewitt are the only 2 final girls. Like, because Brandy was my first Black final girl.
Yeah.
So like how can that be liberating?
That's a good point. So I guess it's first important to talk about what makes something horror. And I'm going to kick myself in the foot if I do not remember all of these. So bear with me. But there are 5 elements that make a film a horror film. And this is coming from the scholarship that I got from Dr. Robin Means Coleman. She wrote this book called Horror Noir, and she talks about I love
her. Yes, and the film, the documentary.
Exactly. And what we learn from that, right, is that one, it's extremely hard to define horror. But there are a couple of elements that we can kind of lean on to help us to define the genre. Well, the first is that obviously horror works to evoke fear, right? Like it's meant to scare the shit out of you, right? Because as a society, we are situated and we, build community around fear. It's just how we work. We're a scary ass species.
Yeah, that's how the first cities came. Is hey, let's get together and build a wall around this shit so the homies won't come.
Exactly. Yeah. Horror also works to transgress boundaries, which means that you're not safe, right, where you go, but it wants to push up against what you find safe, right? Horror works to disrupt the everyday world, and so they sort of situate like this idea like a Haddonfield, right? Like something that's safe, and then they push up against that. They also discuss the way that horror resists narrative closure, which means that there's always a chance for the monster or the the scary thing to come back at later time. That's why we have so many sequels, right?
Ooh,
And so within those 4, and there's a 5th one that I'm missing, but it's okay. We'll come back to it at some point. But the reason why I think that horror is liberating is because horror does not play by the rules.
Ooh.
Meaning that it does not follow the traditional norms that we would sit with in our like normal world, right? But it pushes against, it transgresses those particular boundaries. And there are things that we can get away with in horror that we would not be able to get away with in a particular like drama, right? And so that's why horror is a perfect place to sort of sit with how do we liberate ourselves, because we don't have to think about what's realistic in order to get there, right? And because so much of liberation is tied up in fear, right? Like I have to push up against someone's fear of my existence, right? Like horror provides us an opportunity to face that monster head to head, but also to beat it by any means necessary, even if I have to kill it, right? Like even if I have to destroy this particular entity.
Yep.
So real quick, we've been getting a couple of comments, but the one that I really want to bring up, if we have a moment, is from Henry Walker.
Hey Henry, how you doing?
Hey Henry.
Work.
And Henry shares, I remember seeing One Dark Night back in 1982 and seeing the Black woman, Leslie Spites, her name was Kitty in the film, and knowing she wouldn't make it to the end of the film, she lasted a pretty long time though. So I guess it's another final girl situation. Well, not final girl per se,
I'll say,
but
yeah.
still.
Well, in the
she
80s,
lasted a while.
In the 80s, we weren't allowed to be final girls, like at all. So that didn't come until like Brandy had to become the first freaking Black Cinderella, and that's only after Disney was just like, okay, you can be Cinderella, did writers finally say, okay, people will probably be pissed off if we killed her off in this horror movie, so I guess she can stay.
Can I real quick for a second, y'all, show y'all my favorite final girl if we have a moment?
Sure.
Who's your favorite final girl?
Once again, I know we kind of slightly going off topic, but
I'm nervous
talking about the final
me
girl.
Too. I'm afraid to.
You know,
because Chris will left field will just.
Oh, it ain't no left field. This is straight for the. If it allowed me to pull it up, it's actually kind of funny. So I might have to do something else to try this one. Let's see. There we go. All right. And let me know if y'all know who this is.
I don't.
Wait.
It just came out with 28
days later.
That's Selena.
Selena she's a baddie.
She's a baddie. And I mean, I don't think it's much of a spoiler. I mean, for folks who know 28 Days Later, it deals with this virus called the rage virus. It breaks out over the world. This character wakes up, from a coma, and the world has changed. And he's saved by Selena from all these folks who are affected by the rage virus. What I love about Selena is that she had her road dog with her. But the thing about the rage virus is even if a drip of blood gets into your eye, gets into your system, you transform in like seconds. And her road dog got a little speckle of blood in there. And she looked at him and she was like, don't start crying to me. She pulled out the machete and chopped and diced him. Because you know what? She was like, I gotta survive. And I don't got time for this. So
listen, from the beginning.
For the beginning.
Love that for her.
But anyway, yes. Go ahead.
Yes. Her and Michonne. Michonne, she's
yes.
Also...
Yes.
Yep. Wow. Okay. Where do we go from that? Okay, so I know where we can go. Speaking of that, since 28 years later just came out.
I haven't seen it yet.
Wow.
I was going.
Well, I'll say this real quick.
Wait, I said 28 days, yes, but I haven't seen like the sequels.
Yeah, they have 28 days, weeks, and then years. But years is literally.
Oh, they didn't do months. Now. They didn't do months. 28 months.
Yeah, something happened. Yeah, it just
They don't need months.
Okay.
But 28 years is on Netflix, and then they have the sequel to 28 years. I think coming out right in the beginning of January. So
yes, okay.
But catch it on Netflix. It's on Netflix now. But go ahead. Sorry.
So the very next thing I wanted to ask you, Sir Patrick, again, because I've been learning more about you via your Instagram.
Okay.
Is there anything that Black and queer folk, or people who happen to be both Black and queer, should be checking out in the movie theaters this spooky season? Like a certain Wayans brother who might have a film that I heard. Okay, I heard some stuff about.
well, let me just say, y'all should start with The Blackening, which is not going to be in theaters. But you got to start with The Blackening, because that is the Blackening gives us the best Black queer character we have ever seen in a horror film.
And I want to say the person who was the actor was also a writer.
Yeah.
Didn't he write
is his name Daryl Perkins or something like that?
Dwayne Perkins.
Dwayne
Perkins.
Yeah.
But yes.
He is funny. He survives. He is smart and witty. He is nuanced, right? Like he definitely makes some mistakes in the play, but he reminds me a lot of me. And I loved seeing the representation from The Blackening. So if you're Black and queer, you have to go see The Blackening for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
It is.
Yeah, okay. I think they're working on a sequel to it as well, too, I believe.
So now
you're not gonna get that from him, though. Him is a very macho, Jordan Peele, more monkey paw production that did not do as well in the theater, because I don't think that people understood the symbolism behind it. They thought it was a little bit too allegoric, and so they're just like, where's the actual story in this? I enjoyed it, but it's that's a Black man's film, or that's a Black mother's film who feels like football is her son's only option.
Ooh. Yeah. Okay, Chris, do you know, have you heard or read anything about him yet?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of reviews, and here's the thing, because I'm doing my little horror movie marathon. I did The Substance, just watched Weapons.
Oh, nice.
And did what is it?
That's Bring a little queer coded.
Oh yeah, it is a little
Weapons.
Weapons.
Yeah, it's
I've not seen this, so I need to see this.
Oh yeah, it's on HBO Max now.
It's weird because I have a partner who does not like horror at all.
Me too.
At all.
Me too.
Yeah, so I have to watch this stuff. I can't watch this stuff in my house when he's there, because he's just like, once the blood starts flowing and it starts spurting out people's necks and stuff, he's just like, it's a violent physical reaction. So I have to just okay, let's put it on Star Trek.
You have to know what horror movies to take your man to.
That is true.
That is true.
While y'all talking about y'all mans and shit.
I
don't even know how to segue into this conversation anymore.
So I was going to segue into. Go ahead. Oh, wait.
Well, you asked me something earlier though. You were asking me about him.
Right?
Yes. And I just saw something reviews, and the reviews I saw. What I was going to say about that is, like they did with the Nia DaCosta Candyman film. A bunch of films that Jordan Peele has either produced or has been a monkey paw production. What I feel like is slightly happening, and this is slightly, I don't want to go too far off topic, but I think Jordan Peele has done incredible work with his films, Get Out, with Us, with Nope. And everybody's trying, you said, wait, what? You said you
love Us. Sorry,
love Us. Okay, thank you. Love Us. But I feel that again, everybody's trying to, I guess catch that same wave. And Jordan Peele is aware of that. And even with him, and I've seen a couple of the projects been attached to, a lot of folks thought this was a Jordan Peele directed film, and it was not. It was not. But how they promoted it, how they marketed it, was like, oh, this is basically, a Jordan Peele movie. It's going to be on that same caliber. And again, I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to be too critical. But the one thing I am starting to see is that I feel like Jordan Peele has done an incredible work to establish himself as a brilliant director and storyteller around horror. But I feel like it shouldn't be oversaturated in a way, I guess, too, in terms of marketing and studios.
He's not the Messiah. No,
he's not the Messiah.
He is the one. He is the one that they let through most often right now.
And he won the Oscar, right? Which I think also says something.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah.
Like when a horror movie wins an Oscar for best original screenplay, that means something, because horror movies don't get allowed on the stage for
absolutely
film awards. Hell no.
Yeah, absolutely.
But first, I want to point out, hey Cody, how you doing? Because I see you acting out in the chat right now.
In the comments,
hey Cody. But also I want to
crying.
I also want to ask. Okay, so have you been keeping up with Interview with a Vampire?
Oh Lord.
Don't Lord me.
I'm sorry.
Okay, because I have we only have 3 minutes, but I wanted to ask you kind of what are your opinions of them turning Louis black and actually going with the implications of a black man in New Orleans being a vampire.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh Lord. Okay.
But that also is a trope that happens a lot in horror. That just reminded me of Lovecraft Country, where Ruby was also turned white in that particular series, and how that was a whole debacle. But
okay,
I love Lovecraft Country. We don't talk about it enough, and I'm pissed that they did not bring it back for a second season. They
had one ready. They had, they did. Mia DaCosta as well too. Yeah,
it was written. Yeah. HBO playing games. HBO they F around with Westworld and it was doing good. They F not him scratching his head and you sipping your tea. Wow. I didn't watch Westworld. I don't know. I was just asking.
Yeah. I was gonna add one quick thing. I know we're about to wrap up, and I also want Patrick to really have the final word. But since we're talking about horror, we're talking about the impact of queer culture on horror, and we're also Black queer horror fans. There is a horror film that I don't know if you all have seen. It's like a horror thriller, but it's called Film. Have y'all seen this?
I haven't seen this.
It's actually two. So Film is centered around this young Black gay performer. He does drag. And one night after one of his performances, he goes to a nearby corner store or whatever, runs into some of these UK macho bros. They start trying to tease him. He notices that one of the white bros sent him a dick pic on an app or something in that capacity or whatever, something like that. And he's basically like, girl, why you trying to tease me? You were trying to get some of this 5 minutes ago. So he kind of reads him in front of his boys. And then as he leaves the store, as a lot of these insecure, hypermasculine men do, they decide to gang up on him and beat him, right? So he's beat badly. He's in recovery for months. And once he heals, he runs into the same guy at the bathhouse outside of drag.
Oh, hell
and
no.
The guy does not realize it's him. And the movie really follows, similar to what we're saying again, of how he gets his revenge. And I don't want to spoil anything else.
Okay. I'm going to watch that.
Where can we find this? Is this HBO? Is this Netflix?
It looks like Hulu.
Yeah, Yeah, you probably have to do a quick search. I
Okay.
haven't seen it on any of the major platforms. It wasn't a big release. They did like a small theatrical release, but it was a brilliant film, very relatable, thrilling to the end. Yeah, I just want to kind of put that out there.
Period. Love that.
Amen.
Thank you.
Well, sir, I think this is about our time. But before we go, I want to give you the chance and opportunity to go ahead and talk your shit. Plug anything that you want to plug here. Call out anybody who you want to call out. Just just leave it on the table.
Here's what I'll say, right? A lot of folks are asking me, why are you studying Black horror? Like, what's the purpose of it? And to my earlier point, it's because I'm doing something that I'm extremely passionate about. And I think in a world that is driven by money and by capitalism, we have lost the need and the understanding of the power of passion. And so whatever your passion is, like something that wakes you up and keeps you up, like, please pursue that. So that's the first thing I'll say. The second thing I'll say is horror is not just jump scares. It's not just blood and guts, but horror is an opportunity for us to confront our fears face to face. And it's an opportunity for us to win. And if we can continue to use horror as a model to design and practice freedom, we could then take that and apply it to the world that we live in. Because I think right now we really scary. We are really scary. And
real life.
And to be frank, there's a lot to be scared of. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
But let us lean on what has always helped us in these moments, and that's our stories. That's our writers, that's our cultural producers, right? Those folks who have said, we've been here before and it's actually been a lot worse. And if we can't see ourselves out, then we're going to have to create a way out. And studying film and literature and stories is a beautiful way to do that, even if it's a little gory.
Oh,
am I doing it right? Is this how you do the clock
our way out?
No,
We're gonna have to create our way out. Yeah, sir.
Is that how you do it?
I think that's it.
Yes.
This one, okay.
I'm not in ballroom, so. I love y'all. This has been the highlight of my day, so thank you.
Thank you. We love you too. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with us here at LGBT Detroit Live. Patrick, we got to do this again. Let us know whenever you want to come back, and we can definitely chop it up.
We could talk about whatever.
Okay. But for everybody else, we love you, and we will talk to y'all next week.
Peace out.
Peace.